Chapter 43, The Eternal Flame. After leaving the luminous cavern, Tobian and Nivara followed the newly revealed path, which led them into a dense forest. The trees were ancient, their trunks thick and twisted, their leaves a deep emerald green that seemed almost black in the dim light filtering through the thick canopy. The air was warm and heavy, filled with the scent of earth and the faint crackle of distant fires. As they ventured deeper into the forest, Nivara felt a familiar energy pulsing through the ground beneath her feet. This place was alive with elemental power, but it was different from the calm energy of the luminous cavern or the soothing mists of the vale. This was a place of fire, raw and untamed, and she could feel it calling to her. Nivara paused, letting the energy of the forest flow through her. Her form began to change once more, adapting to the primal force of the fire. Her glowing crystal-like appearance from the luminous cavern faded as her hair transformed into a wild cascade of fiery red and orange, streaked with gold like the flames of a roaring bonfire. Her eyes became molten amber, burning with an inner fire, and her skin took on a warm, golden hue, as if kissed by the sun. Her gown became a flowing robe of dark red and black, like the embers of a fire, and her presence radiated heat and power. She had become the spirit of fire, a guardian of the eternal flame. Tobian watched in awe as Nivara's transformation completed. "You've taken on the essence of fire itself, Nivara. This place must be tied to an ancient flame, one that never dies." Nivara nodded, her fiery gaze scanning the forest. "The eternal flame is near, Tobian. I can feel its power, but it's hidden deep within the heart of this forest. We must find it and protect it." As they journeyed through the forest, they encountered strange phenomena, trees that spontaneously combusted, only to be reborn from their ashes, rivers of molten lava flowing like water, and fiery creatures that watched them with glowing eyes from the shadows. Despite the heat and danger, Nivara's new form protected them, the flames parting before her like a respectful bow to a queen. Finally, they reached a clearing at the center of the forest, where the eternal flame burned brightly on a stone altar. The flame was unlike any other fire. They could see the flicker of blue, white, and gold in its core, dancing and swirling as if alive. The altar was surrounded by ancient runes and symbols, telling the story of the flame that had burned here since time immemorial, a source of power and life for the entire forest. "This is it," Tobian said, his voice filled with reverence. "The eternal flame. It's been burning for eons, but something feels off. The flame isn't as strong as it should be." Nivara approached the altar, feeling the heat of the flame but not being burned by it. "The flame is dying, Tobian. Something is draining its power. We must rekindle it before it goes out." As they studied the altar and the surrounding runes, they realized that the forest itself was tied to the flame. The fire was the heart of the forest, giving life and energy to everything within it. But there was a darkness encroaching, something that sought to snuff out the flame and plunge the forest into eternal night. "We need to perform a ritual to restore the flame," Tobian said, his mind racing as he pieced together the clues from the runes. "But it will require a great deal of magic, and we'll need to protect the flame from whatever is trying to extinguish it." Nivara nodded, stepping forward to place her hands over the flame. Her fiery form began to glow even brighter as she connected with the flame's energy, feeding it her own power. "I will be the vessel for the flame, Tobian. My fire will merge with it, and together we can reignite its strength." Tobian began to chant an incantation, drawing upon the magic of the forest and the elemental forces around them. The ground trembled as the ritual began, and the flame on the altar flared up, growing larger and more intense. But as the flame grew, so too did the darkness that had been lurking in the forest. Shadowy figures began to emerge from the trees, their forms shifting and flickering like smoke. They were drawn to the flame, seeking to extinguish it, but Tobian and Nivara stood between them and their goal. Tobian summoned all his magical strength, casting protective barriers around the altar and hurling bolts of fire and light at the approaching shadows. Nivara, now fully merged with the eternal flame, radiated a blinding light that pushed back the darkness. Her fire burned brighter than ever, and with a powerful cry, she unleashed a wave of flames that swept through the clearing, incinerating the shadowy figures and restoring the balance of light and dark. The eternal flame roared to life, its light now strong and steady. The forest around them seemed to sigh in relief as the balance was restored, the trees no longer burning or struggling against the darkness. With the ritual complete, Nivara stepped back from the altar, her fiery form slowly calming as the flame settled into its renewed strength. The flame is safe now, Tobian. We've restored its power, and the forest will thrive once more. Tobian approached her, a proud smile on his face. You were incredible, Nivara. The spirit of fire itself. Nivara smiled, the warmth of the flame still glowing in her eyes. And you, Tobian, were the guiding hand that made it possible. Together, we've saved this sacred place. As they prepared to leave the forest, the eternal flame flickered gently, as if in thanks. The path ahead was now clear, leading them to the next chapter of their journey, where new adventures and challenges awaited. With the power of the flame now burning within them, Tobian and Nivara were ready to face whatever the future held. Chapter 44, The Celestial Pools. With the eternal flame restored, Tobian and Nivara set out from the enchanted forest, their path leading them toward the mountains that towered on the horizon. The terrain gradually shifted from the dense, warm embrace of the forest to rocky foothills and steep cliffs. The air grew cooler, carrying the fresh scent of pine and the distant echo of waterfalls. Nivara felt the energy of this new land, a place where earth met sky and water flowed with the magic of the heavens. She knew it was time to change her appearance again, to attune herself to the new environment and the challenges that awaited. As they paused by a crystalline stream, Nivara closed her eyes and let the energy of the land flow through her. Her fiery form, still radiant from the forest, began to shift. Her hair lightened, turning a soft, silvery white, like moonlight reflecting on a still lake. Her eyes became a deep, tranquil blue, as endless as the sky. Her skin took on a pale, luminous glow, almost translucent, and her gown transformed into a flowing robe of deep blue and silver, adorned with patterns that mirrored the constellations above. She had become the spirit of water and sky, a guardian of the celestial pools. Tobian watched in admiration as Nivara's transformation completed. You've become one with the heavens and the waters, Nivara. This place is connected to the stars. Nivara smiled, her voice soft and serene. The celestial pools are near, Tobian. They hold the power of the stars, and we must uncover their secrets. As they continued their journey, the landscape became more otherworldly. The mountains around them shimmered with a faint, ethereal light, and the streams they crossed seemed to glow from within, their waters reflecting the stars even in daylight. Strange, floating orbs of light danced around them, guiding them along hidden paths. Finally, they reached a hidden valley nestled between the peaks, where the celestial pools lay. The pools were a series of crystal-clear lakes, each one reflecting the night sky with perfect clarity. Even though it was day, the pools showed the constellations as if it were the darkest night, their waters shimmering with the light of 1,000 stars. This place is incredible, Tobian whispered, awestruck. It's like the stars themselves have come down to earth. Nivara knelt beside one of the pools, her hand skimming the surface. The water was cool and soothing, and she felt a deep connection to the magic within. These pools are linked to the heavens, Tobian. They are a gateway to the stars, and they hold great power. As they explored the valley, they discovered ancient carvings on the rocks surrounding the pools. The carvings depicted a long-forgotten ritual, one that harnessed the power of the stars through the celestial pools. The ritual required a deep understanding of the constellations and the ability to channel their energy into the waters. We need to perform the ritual to unlock the full power of the pools, Tobian said, studying the carvings. But it will require us to align the pools with the constellations above, and that's something that can only be done at night. Nivara nodded, already feeling the pull of the night sky. We must wait for the stars to guide us. When night falls, I will use my connection to the water and sky to attune the pools. As the sun set and the first stars appeared in the sky, Nivara and Tobian prepared for the ritual. Nivara stood at the edge of the largest pool, her gown shimmering like the night sky, while Tobian positioned himself at the center of the carvings, ready to channel the magic. The night deepened, and the stars above shone brightly, their light reflected perfectly in the pools. Nivara raised her arms, her voice a soft chant that echoed through the valley. The waters of the pools began to ripple, responding to her call. One by one, the constellations above aligned with the pools, their light merging with the water in a dazzling display of magic. Tobian, drawing upon the ancient carvings, began to channel the energy of the stars through the pools. The water glowed with an intense light, the power of the constellations flowing through it and into the valley. The entire area was bathed in a celestial glow, and the magic of the stars filled the air. As the ritual reached its peak, the pools began to swirl, their waters rising into the air in graceful arcs. The light of the stars coalesced into a single point above the valley, forming a brilliant, glowing orb. The orb pulsed with the energy of the heavens, a source of immense power and knowledge. Nivara and Tobian stood in awe as the orb slowly descended, its light filling them with a sense of peace and wonder. The orb settled above the largest pool, where it remained, a beacon of celestial magic. The celestial pools are now fully awakened, Nivara said, her voice filled with reverence. They will continue to guide us on our journey, their power linked to the stars. Tobian nodded, his eyes reflecting the light of the orb. With this power, we can navigate even the darkest of paths. The stars will be our guide, and the magic of the heavens will protect us. With the ritual complete and the celestial pools now awakened, Tobian and Nivara knew that their journey would continue to new, unknown lands. The power of the stars was now within their reach, and with it, they would face whatever challenges awaited them. As they prepared to leave the valley, the orb of celestial light pulsed gently, as if bidding them farewell. The path ahead was illuminated by the light of the stars, and with Nivara's new form attuned to the heavens, they set out once more, ready to embrace the adventures to come. Chapter 45, The Whispering Sands. With the power of the stars guiding them, Tobian and Nivara left the celestial pools behind, their journey leading them toward the vast expanse of the Whispering Sands, a desert said to be alive with ancient voices and hidden secrets. The landscape shifted dramatically as they traveled, the cool, starkest air of the mountains giving way to the dry heat and golden dunes of the desert. As they ventured deeper into the sands, Nivara could feel the desert's unique energy resonating through her. This was a place of ancient memories, where the winds carried the whispers of long-forgotten times, and the sands hid secrets waiting to be uncovered. It was time for her to change once more, to attune herself to this mysterious land. Nivara found a secluded spot among the dunes and closed her eyes, letting the desert's energy wash over her. Her celestial appearance began to shift, her silver hair darkening to a rich, sandy gold, reminiscent of the dunes around them. Her eyes took on a warm, amber hue, glowing like the sun setting over the desert. Her skin became a deep, sun-kissed bronze, and her gown transformed into a flowing robe of pale gold and soft beige, adorned with patterns that resembled the ripples of the sand and the symbols of an ancient, forgotten language. She had become the spirit of the desert, a guardian of the whispering sands. Tobian watched in awe as Nivara's transformation completed. "You've become one with the desert, Nivara. This place is filled with ancient power, and I can feel its secrets waiting to be discovered." Nivara smiled, her voice soft and melodic, like the wind brushing over the dunes. "The whispering sands hold the memories of countless ages, Tobian. They speak to those who listen, and they can guide us to what we seek." As they journeyed further into the desert, the sands around them began to shift and move, almost as if alive. The wind picked up, carrying with it faint whispers in a language neither of them could fully understand. The dunes seemed to change shape with each step they took, making it easy to lose their way. But Nivara, now attuned to the desert, felt a connection to the sands beneath her feet. She could hear the whispers more clearly, guiding her and Tobian toward a hidden path. The sands parted before them, revealing a narrow trail that wound its way through the dunes. "This way," Nivara said, leading Tobian along the path. "The desert is showing us where to go." As they followed the path, they began to notice remnants of an ancient civilization, crumbling pillars half buried in the sand, fragments of pottery, and faded carvings on stones that had long since fallen from their original places. The whispers grew louder, filling the air with a sense of anticipation. Finally, they arrived at the heart of the desert, where the sands gave way to a massive stone structure, half buried in the dunes. It was a temple, its entrance guarded by towering statues of beings with human bodies and jackal heads, their eyes seeming to watch over the sands. The temple was ancient, older than anything they had encountered before, and it radiated a powerful, mysterious energy. "This is it," Tobian whispered, his voice filled with awe. "The Temple of the Whispering Sands. It's been hidden here for centuries, maybe longer." Nivara approached the entrance, her hand brushing over the stone carvings that adorned the walls. The whispers grew louder, and she could feel the ancient magic that still lingered within the temple. "The temple holds the memories of this land, Tobian. It's a place of great power and knowledge, but also of trials. We must prove ourselves worthy to enter." As they stepped inside, the temperature dropped, the cool air of the temple a stark contrast to the heat of the desert outside. The interior was dimly lit by shafts of sunlight filtering through cracks in the ceiling, casting eerie shadows on the walls. The whispers were louder here, echoing off the stone walls in a haunting melody. The first chamber they entered was vast, with a high ceiling supported by massive stone pillars. The floor was covered in intricate patterns, each symbol telling a story of the temple's past. At the center of the chamber stood a large pedestal, upon which rested a golden urn, glowing faintly with a soft, amber light. "This urn is the key," Tobian said, examining it closely. "It's filled with the sands of time, each grain holding a memory of the past. We need to use these sands to unlock the temple's secrets." Nivara reached out, her hand hovering over the urn. The moment she touched it, the whispers intensified, and the sands inside began to swirl. The patterns on the floor shifted, revealing a path that led deeper into the temple. "The temple is guiding us," Nivara said, her voice filled with determination. We must follow this path and uncover the memories it holds. As they followed the new path, they encountered a series of trials, each one testing their knowledge, wisdom, and connection to the ancient magic of the desert. They deciphered riddles carved into the walls, navigated treacherous sand-filled chambers, and faced illusions designed to confuse and mislead them. But with Nivara's attunement to the desert and Tobian's mastery of magic, they overcame each challenge. Finally, they reached the innermost chamber of the temple, where a massive hourglass stood at its center. The sands within the hourglass were unlike any they had seen before, glowing with a soft, ethereal light. They seemed to float and shimmer as if infused with the very essence of time itself. "This is the heart of the temple," Tobian said, his voice filled with reverence. "The sands of time. They hold the memories of this land, the secrets of the past, and the power to shape the future." Nivara approached the hourglass, her hand resting on its surface. The whispers of the desert filled the chamber, resonating with the sands within the hourglass. "These sands are a gift, Tobian. They can show us the past, reveal the future, and guide us on our journey." With a deep breath, Nivara turned the hourglass, letting the sands of time flow. As they did, the chamber around them transformed, revealing visions of the desert's past, mighty cities that once thrived here, ancient beings who wielded great power, and the rise and fall of civilizations long forgotten. The visions showed them the way forward, a path that would lead them to their next destination. As the visions faded, the chamber returned to its original state, the hourglass still glowing softly. The temple had given them its blessing, and the sands of time were now theirs to guide them. With the temple's secrets uncovered and the power of the sands of time in their possession, Tobian and Nivara prepared to leave the Whispering Sands. The desert had revealed its mysteries to them, and they knew that their journey was far from over. The path ahead was still shrouded in uncertainty, but with the wisdom of the past and the guidance of the stars, they were ready to face whatever challenges awaited them. As they stepped back into the light of the desert sun, the sands around them seemed to whisper their farewell, the ancient voices offering their thanks for uncovering the temple's secrets. With Nivara's new form attuned to the desert, and the sands of time in their hands, Tobian and Nivara set out once more, their journey leading them to new adventures and discoveries.